Hello and welcome to Crypto Invest TV. I'm your host, X8, and I'll start off with apologizing to anyone who's wondering why it is that we hadn't been streaming over the past week or so. We just been caught up on a lot of things, and so it was kind of more or less just a prioritizing of what needed to be done. But moving forward, we'll be going back to our regular 3 times a week moving forward, and perhaps even more, you know, down the line. Um, but in other news, we'll go ahead and start off with the first thing that I think a lot of people are pretty surprised about, which is the Binance US CEO Brian Brooks quits, cites strategic differences. So Brian Brooks announced on Twitter Friday afternoon that he's resigned as the Binance US CEO after just 4 months on the job. Brooks confirmed in an email to CoinDesk that his account was not hacked. In a tweet, Brooks cited differences over strategic direction between him and his colleagues. Before joining the U.S. arm of the Binance Global Crypto Exchange, Brooks helmed the office of the Comptroller of the Currency (OCC), the regulator for national banks under U.S. President Trump. Brooks' hiring appeared to have been part of a strategy by Binance US and its parent to improve their standing by hiring well-regarded former regulators from around the world. Now Brooks' uh, abrupt abrupt departure, along with last month's similarly unexpected departure of the director for Binance Brazil after only 6 months, is bound to raise questions as regulatory scrutiny of the world's largest crypto exchange by trading volume and its various subsidiaries has only intensified in the recent months. Multiple countries, including the UK and Japan, have taken action against Binance. In a statement, Binance CEO Zheng Peng CZ Zhao, Binance US chairman, said he is confident in Binance US's business and its commitment to serve its customers. Brooks' departure, CZ added, would not affect Binance US customers in any way. Neither he nor Brooks elaborated on why they parted ways. No word on a successor, um, even in an interim one either. Um, Brooks or Brian's work for Binance US has been invaluable, and we hope he will continue to be an integral part of the crypto industry's growth, advocating for regulations that move our industry forward, Zhao said in a separate statement provided to CoinDesk. We wish him the very best in his future endeavors. That wishing contrasted with the way Binance US dealt with Brooks' predecessor, Catherine Coley. The exchange didn't even mention her when it hired Brooks in April. During his time as acting cop comptroller of the currency, Brooks pursued an aggressively crypto-friendly reform agenda and met often with members of digital asset industries, from corporate CEOs to bleeding-edge entrepreneurs from the decentralized finance space. So, you know, I imagine that this has come to a shock just to a lot of people that the CEO of Binance has decided that he no longer wants to be a part of Binance. But I mean, these things happen. It is unfortunate that we're having this happen, that this is going on more often with Binance, especially regarding the concerns that are going on with him when it comes or with the company in regards to all the regulation and essential, I guess you'd say, anger that has been coming from around the world towards Binance. Um, so that's pretty much it for that note. Uh, like I said, it's rather unfortunate that that Binance is going to be going through this, but like I said, there's nothing really much that they can do about it, just for the simple fact that he's decided that he no longer wants to be a part of the company. Moving forward, crypto community slams disastrous new amendment to Biden's big infrastructure bill. Biden's major bipartisan infrastructure plan struck a rare chord of cooperation between Republicans and Democrats, but changes it. Sorry, but changes its proposes to. I think that should be changes its proposal to cryptocurrency regulation are tripping up the bill. Tripping up the bill. Oh my lord. The legislation's vocal critics argue that the bill's efforts to do so is slapdash, particularly a bit that would declare anyone responsible for a regularly providing any service effectively oh my lord, I'm sorry everyone, reasonably for and regularly providing any service um, effect, effectuating transfers of digital assets to be a broker subject to tax reporting requirements. So essentially what it's saying right there is that from the language that they're giving, it's so vague that essentially if I was to, say send my friend $10 in a various cryptocurrency, for giving me a ride to the store. That means that he would essentially have to follow certain. He would be subject to certain tax reporting requirements and be considered a broker because of the lack of wording in the bill. While that definition might be more straightforward than in a traditional corner of finance, it could force cryptocurrency developers, companies, and even anyone mining digital currencies to somehow collect and report information on users, something that by design isn't even possible in the decentralized financial system. Now, a new an amendment to the critical spending package is threatening to make matters even worse. In a joint letter about the bill's text, Square, Coinbase, Ribbit Capital, and other stakeholders warned of financial surveillance and unintended impacts for cryptocurrency miners and developers. The Electronic Frontier Foundation and Fight for the Future, two privacy-minded digital rights organizations, also slammed the bill. And then here you can see in Coinbase News it says, "We stand with Square, Rabbit Capital, Coin Center, and blockchain." I think it's supposed to be Ascent, about the digital asset provision in the infrastructure bill, and we applaud Ron Wyde, Sin Lemus, Sin Toomey in proposing a thoughtful amendment to get the tech right. And then it says, read our official statement. Following the outcry from the cryptocurrency community, a pair of influential senators proposed an amendment to clarify the new reporting rules. Finance Committee Chairman Ron Wyde pushed back against the bill, proposing an amendment with fellow Finance Committee member Pat Toomey that would modify the bill's language. The amendment would establish that the new reporting does not apply to individuals developing blockchain technology and wallets, removing some of the bill's ambiguity on the issue. By clarifying the definition of a broker, our amendment will ensure non-financial intermediaries like miners, network validators, and other service providers, many of whom don't even have a personal identifying information needed to file a 1099 with the IRS, are not subject to reporting requirements specified in the bipartisan infrastructure package, Toomey said. Wyoming Senator Cynthia Loomis also threw her support behind Toomey and the Wyden Amendment, as the Colorado Governor Jared Polis. Okay, so then it says the Wyden-Loomis-Tooley amendment is simple. It clarifies in law what most of us already believe, that validators of distributed ledger data like miners and stakers, hardware wallet providers, and software developers should not be required to report transaction data to the IRS. It says picking winners and losers. The drama doesn't stop there. With negotiations around the bill ongoing, the text could be finalized over the weekend. A pair of senators proposed a competing amendment that isn't winning any fans in the crypto community. That amendment from Senator Rob Portman and Mark Warner would exempt traditional cryptocurrency miners who participate in energy-intensive proof-of-work systems from new financial reporting requirements, while keeping those rules in place for those using a proof-of-stake system. Portman worked with Treasury Department to author the cryptocurrency portion of the original infrastructure bill. And then it says, here's a post right here, Jerry Brito. It says, wow, Senator Warren and Portman are proposing a last-minute amendment competing with the Wyden-Loomis-Toomey amendment. It's disastrous. It only excludes proof-of-work mining and does nothing for software developers. Ridiculous. Here is all it excludes: validating distributed ledger transactions through proof-of-work mining, or selling hardware or software, the sole function of which is to permit persons to control a private key used for accessing digital assets on the distributed ledger. So it goes on next to say, rather than requiring an investment in computing hardware and energy bills comparable oh my lord capable of solving increasingly complex math problems, proof-of-stake system relies on participants taking a financial stake of a given project, locking away some of the cryptocurrency to generate new coins. Proof-of-stake is emerging as an attractive, climate-friendlier alternative that could reduce the need for heavy computing and huge amounts of energy required for proof-of-work mining. That makes it all the more puzzling that the latest amendment would specifically let proof-of-work mining off of the hook, but not proof-of-stake, as well as developers. Some popular digital currencies like Cardano already built on proof of stake. Ethereum, the second biggest cryptocurrency, is in the process of migrating from the proof-of-work system to a proof-of-stake system to help scale its system and reduce fees. Bitcoin is the most notable digital currency that relies on proof-of-work. The Warner-Portman amendment is touted as a compromise, but is not really halfway between the Wyden-Toomey amendment and the existing bill. It just introduces new problems that many crypto advocates view as a fresh existential threat to their work. Prominent members of the crypto community include Square founder and Bitcoin booster Jack Dorsey have thrown their support behind the Wyden-Loomis-Toomey amendment, while slamming the second proposal as misguided and damaging. The executive director of Coin Center, a crypto think tank, called the Warner-Portman Amendment disastrous. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong echoed the language at the 11th hour. Mark Warner has proposed an amendment that would decide which foundational technologies are okay and which are not in crypto, he tweeted. We could not find ourselves with the Senate deciding which types of crypto will survive government regulation. And then here's just an extension of that tweet. Senator Pat Toomey, while I appreciate my colleagues and the White House have acknowledged their original crypto tax had flaws, the Warner-Portman Amendment picks winners and losers based on the type of technology employed. That's horrible for innovation. Unfortunately, the crypto community and the promise of proof of stake model, the White House is apparently throwing its weight behind the Portman Amendment, although that could change as the 11th hour negotiations continue. It says, here's a tweet from Pat Ward. It says the White House on the crypto amendment statement from Andrew J. Bates 46. And then it says, the administration is pleased with the progress that has yielded a compromise sponsored by Senator Wardman and Portman and Sinema to advance the bipartisan infrastructure package and clarify the measure to reduce tax evasion in cryptocurrency markets. The administration believes that this provision will strengthen tax compliance in the emerging area of finance and ensure high-income taxpayers are contributing what they owe under the law. While we are grateful to Chairman Wyden for his leadership in pushing the Senate to address the issue, however, we believe that the alternative amendment put forward by Senator Warman, Portman, and Sinema strikes the right balance and makes an important step forward in promoting tax compliance. So, I mean, if that is, if this statement is 100% accurate, essentially they're saying that they're more for things that involve energy intensive proof of work systems in comparison to proof of stake, which is less energy intensive, which is contradicting to the fact that they're trying to reduce the amount of dirty energy that we are producing. So if you want to reduce the amount of pollution energy that's being created, why would you want to only move forward with a proof of work system not having to be taxed? That's counterintuitive to what you're doing, because basically that means that everyone's going to move over to anything that's proof of work, because they'll end up falling under the whole being able to stay excluded from this part of the bill, which isn't good for other cryptocurrencies that are built on proof of stake or are moving to proof of stake like Cardano and Ethereum, just for the simple fact that they have more capability than Bitcoin has. And I mean, I own Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin just as much as I love any other cryptocurrency. But the simple fact of the matter is that Bitcoin doesn't have the same level of utility as a lot of these other cryptocurrencies. And that's not to say that other cryptocurrencies are not built on proof of work that don't have many use cases. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just simply stating that I think it would be better if this is a more well-rounded thing, like the Wyden and Toomey amendment. So it's just something that I'm not necessarily in agreement with when it comes to that. Plain and simple. I just don't agree with the fact that they want to they want to exclude some cryptocurrencies that have a huge amount of benefit and actually have created whole new levels of financial ecosystems and other types of ecosystems. Like, for instance, you could kind of, at least I would believe that if it wasn't for Ethereum, I really don't think that NFTs ever would have happened, or at least they would have happened now. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just think that things like Ethereum and other systems. I think that it's important that we have them. I don't think we should do this exclusionary thing for certain types of cryptocurrencies when it comes to a bill. That's just going to end up hindering regulation processes being smoother down the road. That's just my opinion on it. But other than that, we'll go ahead and we'll move into the next topic, which is kind of interesting. SEC charges crypto execs for allegedly fraudulent $30 million offerings in first case against the booming $100 billion space. After warning this week of enhanced regulatory scrutiny to come, the Securities Exchange Commission on Friday levied its first charges on the booming decentralized finance space, charging two Florida men and their Cayman Islands company for allegedly selling more than $30 million worth of securities to investors in unregistered offerings over the course of a year. The two executives of the blockchain credit partners use smart contracts on the Ethereum blockchain to sell two types of cryptocurrencies while misleading investors about the operations and profitability of their business. According to the Friday order, the company allowed investors to purchase one of the cryptocurrencies using popular digital assets like Ether and promised to pay holders nearly 6.3% interest, claiming investors' funds would be used to buy real-world assets such as car loans and generated income. Instead, the SEC claims that it was impossible for the business to operate as promised because the real-world assets could not generate enough income to pay back the surging value of investments made in tokens like Ether. Executives failed to notify investors of the roadblock. The SEC alleges that instead used personal funds and funds from other companies they controlled to make principal and interest payments to investors. Blockchain credit partners and the executives Gregory Cow and Derek Archie, I'm sure I mispronounced both of their last names, didn't admit or deny the SEC's findings, but agreed to pay back more than $12.8 million in degorgements and penalties of $125,000 each. The federal securities law apply with equal force to age-old frauds wrapped in today's latest technologies, Daniel Michael, a unit chief of the SEC's Enforcement Division, said on a Friday statement. Here, the labeling of the offering is decentralized, and the securities as governance tokens did not hinder us from ensuring that the lending marketplace was immediately shut down, that investors were paid back. Just days before the charges, SEC Chairman Gary Gensler said booming decentralized finance platforms, which are also known as DeFi, were one of the facets of the cryptocurrency industry that warranted more government scrutiny. The platform largely sidestepped traditional intermediaries like central banks and exchanges for financial services. instead relying on blockchains and often their own cryptocurrencies to process transactions. On Tuesday, Gensler said, um, such practices cannot only implicate security laws, but commodities and banking laws. No, make no mistake. To the extent that they are securities on these trading platforms under our laws, they have to be registered with the commission unless they meet an exemption. He warned, adding, "Make no mistake. If a lending platform is offering securities, it also falls into the SEC's jurisdiction. Meanwhile, institutional investors have largely been warming up to the space. Goldman Sachs last week filed to create its own exchange-traded fund investing in DeFi. 101 billion, that's the current market value of DeFi, according to crypto data website CoinGecko. The space shot past 100 billion valuation for the first time ever and peaked at about 150 billion in May before the broader crypto market crashed nearly 50%. So, essentially these guys weren't following proper trade practices, right, when it comes to what they are doing, even with it being in the decentralized space. And I'm not sure if these guys were trying to run a scam or if these guys were trying to run a legitimate business and they were trying to get the backing that they were saying that they were going to be providing to their investors and just hadn't met those expectations yet. I don't really know based off of this article. It's something that we'd have to look into in the regards of, I guess you would say, personal insight from them as to how this all came about. So, I mean, in all reality, I mean, I'm not gonna say that this is a super bad thing necessarily, but I will say that it's definitely not helpful for the DeFi space, especially when you consider all the things that are happening, like rug pulls and so on and so forth. Um, Moving on into our next topic, this might be exciting for some of you Apple users. Says Coinbase lets crypto buyers use Apple Pay and they can cash out up to $100,000 at a time. Says Coinbase is allowing U.S. customers to buy cryptocurrencies using Apple Pay. Google Pay services will be integrated on the crypto exchange later this year. People can make instant withdrawals up to $100,000 per transaction at any time of the day, which is pretty awesome. I'll have to say, $100,000 worth of transactions, or $100 worth of currency per transaction at any time of the day. I'm curious as to whether or not there's going to be a cap on how many transactions you could make like that per day. Crypto exchange Coinbase has started allowing U.S. customers to buy cryptocurrencies using Apple Pay, with Google Payment services soon to follow. People with a Visa or MasterCard debit card, my lord, linked to their Apple Wallet will be able to use the digital payment system for purchases on the platform, the company said in a blog post on Thursday. Google Pay will be integrated into the system in the fall. At the same time, Coinbase introduced a service to allow instant withdrawals up to $100,000 per transaction at any time of the day with no limit on the number of cash outs. Okay, so there you go. Apparently, if you happen to strike $1 million and you wanted to pull out that $1 million fairly fast, I guess you could do, essentially 10 transactions with your Apple Pay in order to, cash out and withdraw those funds. The cryptocurrency exchange said it is the first to offer instant cash outs via real-time payments, a clearing network focused on digital services that promises immediate settlement of transactions. Until now, many Coinbase consumers used the automated clearinghouse system ordinarily used by banks and other financial institutions. It said that network process transactions are much slower and can take up to 5 days to settle. Gemini, the network-based crypto exchange owned by the billionaire Winklevoss twins, made a similar move in April, a sign of appetite for a variety of payment methods to access crypto. Apple Pay is the top mobile payment service in the US, counting about 44 million users in 2021, according to data from analyst firm eMarketer. Starbucks, Google Pay, and Samsung Pay are close competitors. Starbucks? I'm not sure about Starbucks. That doesn't really make sense to me. I don't see how. Just I might just be behind on the times, but does Starbucks have their own kind of credit card or debit card? I personally don't know. So if you know what they're meaning about this whole Starbucks thing, go ahead and drop a comment down below, and I'll make sure to pin your post. But then you can see right here it says US uh, approximately mobile payment users by platform in 2021. Apple Pay, Starbucks, Google Pay, Samsung Pay. Coinbase was the first major crypto exchange to go public with its Nasdaq direct listing on April 14th this year. Its stock market debuted was viewed as a significant milestone for the crypto economy from the point of view of mainstream adoption and government regulation. So, like I was saying, for all you Apple users out there, if you love crypto and you want to be able to use your Apple Pay, now you have the ability to do that. And not only that, but if you happen to strike it rich off of one of your cryptos, you can easily cash up to $100,000 for withdrawal, and then there's no limits on that withdrawal. So there you go. If you weren't excited about crypto before, maybe this can help light that fire a little bit for you. Moving forward, Ethereum burns 36% of new coin issuance over the past 2 days. At first glance, EIP 1559 seems to be working effectively. A closer look at the number may suggest otherwise. Since the activation of the Ethereum Improvement Proposal EIP 1559, the network has removed from circulation or burned 5,000 Ethereum worth $14 million. This represents 36% of the total new coin issuance over the same period of time. And then you can see here in this graph as to what it is that they're saying. So the total number of Ether that was burnt, and then you can see this is the total number that was issued. Average fees on the Ethereum have increased slightly since upgrades went live on Thursday at 12:33 Universal Time, rising from 0.003 ETH to 0.005 ETH. In addition, block sizes measured on the Ethereum in units of gas have been trending as anticipated towards the block gas target of 15 million gas. At first glance, EIP 1559 seems to be working effectively, burning fees and pricing block space on the Ethereum dramatically so that the block sizes on average hit a healthy target. However, upon closer examination, there is evidence that the EIP 1559 may not be so effective in its main aim to make fees on the network more predictable for users. Block size variation. Under the EIP 1559, blocks being mined on Ethereum's oscillate, I'm sure I'm saying that word completely wrong, dramatically from oh no, I don't think I did. Anyways, Ethereum oscillate dramatically from being 100% full to empty. The reason for this, according to Tim Biko, the chair of the biweekly All Core Developers meeting, is because the pool of transactions eligible to be included in the block gets smaller and larger depending on the minimum fee or base fee decided by the network. Um, Goes on to say you have a block that raises the base fee to because it's full, said Binko in an interview with CoinDesk. It's possible that by the time the next block shows up, there's not been that many new transactions who are willing to pay the higher price. So, and then you can see here through where you can see this continual jumping up and down through the blocks. Uh, sorry. Synonymous Ethereum users, Face Shaver, called this a misalignment of incentives that can lead to a number of problems. First and foremost, being a lack of fee predictability and stability for the average user. It's not that easy for the average user to predict when what the fee will be for the next 1 or 2 minutes, said Shaver in an interview with CoinDesk. If you are trying to get in either in this block or the next, the most fee volatility you will face is 1/8 of the current base fee. But if you think the average user, as someone who is price sensitive, will be so willing to wait 1 or even something like 3 minutes for transactions to go through, then you have to consider what happens to the fee in the next 3 minutes. Anticipating the optimal transaction fee on Ethereum will be in 3 minutes or more is just as difficult with EIP 1559 as it was before EIP 1559. According to Shaver and Binko, EIP 1559 helps price transactions for users in the moment, but it does not help users predict or anticipate what the fee will be in the next moment because the supply and demand dynamics for block space fluctuate with each block. According to Binko, such oscillations impact block sizes and base fees were always expected from the 1559. However, Binko argues that the average user will still benefit from knowing the optimized base fee of sending the transactions on Ethereum in the moment without having to guess or anticipate fees of the future blocks. Savvy users will be careful not to spend more in fees than absolutely necessary. And then it goes on to say, if users are confident that the fees will increase during the next block, there is a financial incentive to include more transactions in the current block than in the next. However, if the users are confident that fees will decrease on the next block, there's financial incentive to include more transactions onto the next block than the current one. These natural oscillations between heavy and light blocks, according to uh, Mo- Mojtaba oh Lord, this individual, assistant professor at Seraph University of Technology, may mean the amount of gas used in each block will trend over a long term above the block gas target, which can create difficulties for the network node operators responsible for propagating and maintaining the transaction data. If the variability in the block size is high, people can send more transactions on average. So if you just adapt the extreme oscillation of alternating between a full block and also an empty block, you can spend much more gas than the target, and still the base fee would not go up. In this interview with this individual, we are incentivizing people to create volatility. As they create volatility, we let them spend more gas. For now, both developers and researchers like Moj are taking a wait and see approach to assess the full impact of EIP 1559 on usability of Ethereum for users and dApps, according to blockchain analytics firm Dune Analytics. Over 90% of transactions on Ethereum have not leveraged the benefit of the EIP 1559 2 days into the upgrade's activation. So, sorry that I was having a bit of struggle through some of that, but essentially what they're saying is that the whole this is going to be really groundbreaking for cryptocurrency. It has kind of turned into more of like, well, if you catch it at the right moment, then the gas fees can be low. But for the average user, they can't consistently. They're not going to be able to consistently be able to anticipate the fees. So I think that, even though that could be a possibility right now, I think as uh, this new proposal, the EIP 1559, as it continues to be used over the next coming weeks, I think that's when we'll probably have a lot more information about that, and then we can um, have a better idea about what's exactly going to be going on moving forward with EIP 1559. But moving forward, we'll move into our last main topic of the day, which is wallet recovery service helps a man regain access to 10 million Doge. This retired truck driver was locked out of a 10 million Doge worth 3 million, and then a wallet recovery service came to the rescue and reunited him with his fortune. It says a wallet recovery service says it has achieved the impossible, opening up a 6-year-old wallet that contained 10 million Doge. Keychain X said it was contacted by the retired truck driver who had purchased a massive amount of Doge uh, purchased a massive Doge stash in 2015 for $1,500. Fast forward now, its value has increased more than 2,000x and would now be worth more than $3 million. Just imagine if he had had access to this back when it was at 74 cents, he would have had closer to $10 million. But anyways, moving forward, here's the problem. The pin to his Android wallet was a 12 digit long sorry, was 12 digits long, something that the company thought would be impossible to crack in a lifetime. Um, the Keychain X team got to work by asking for numbers that had significance to him, such as the year of his birth. From here, they analyzed the wallet as he They analyzed the wallet he used to assess the type of wallet encryption that had been deployed. An endless range of experimentation took place, and then a breakthrough happened. They realized that part of the wallet's owner's hint may be in the pin. It worked. Says they realized that part of the wallet owner's hints may be the pin, and it worked. A nerve-wracking moment. One of the most nail-biting points for Keychain X was ensuring that the funds in the wallet were safely moved because it dated back 6 years. The team estimated that it would take several days to sync. The most nerve-wracking moment involved completing a small test transaction to ensure that the Doge from the amount could safely reach its new destination. Extra precautions were also taken to ensure that keyloggers weren't installed that could cause funds to disappear. Robert Rodin, the CEO of Keychain X, said the delighted Doge investor has promised to share a beer next time he is in town. He added, "Losing a pin to your wallet is not bad after all. If you manage to open it years later, you could find life-changing amounts. This time it was." Says helping investors. Uh, Keychain X first launched in 2017, specialized in recovering lost crypto from mobile hardware and software wallets. Over past 6 months, it has recovered more than 100 wallets and predominantly focuses on retrieving Bitcoin and Ether that has been rendered inaccessible. In the past, they have reunited investors with Bitcoin from 2013 and Ether that dates back to pre-sale in 2015. Oh wow! The company says that it cus- the company says it that its custom software is 1,000 times faster than common tools when it comes to retrieving keys, and that it's only publicly registered companies that operate in this space. A stark contrast to from competitors use who use synonymous or are one-man bands. There is a common opinion that 20% of the Bitcoin are lost forever. We believe those Bitcoin are just waiting to be discovered. Except for that Bitcoin that an individual had. I think he had like something like 125,000 Bitcoin or something like that. And it was on a hard drive, and that hard drive actually accidentally got thrown away, and now that hard drive is in a landfill. So most likely that Bitcoin is gone. Most likely we'll never. I don't know of any way that they could possibly even be able to do so. But I think that that's really amazing. I mean, this retired truck driver. I wonder if he's retired because they unlocked it, or if he was retired and then that unlocked it, and then that obviously just made his retirement so much better. I'm curious as to which came first, because it says retired truck driver, but I'm curious as to whether or not they're meaning, he retired after they unlocked it, or he had retired and then they unlocked it. Interesting to know which actually would come first. But that's just a really nice story. I'm really happy for that person that they were able to be reunited with their investment. That is absolutely fantastic. Moving into the last leg of the show, we'll just go ahead and take a brief check over here at the market. So, Bitcoin currently sitting at $43,005. Ethereum sitting at 2905. Binance sitting at 345. Cardano sitting at $1.42. XRP at 75 cents. Dogecoin still holding at 20 cents. I'm not sure when they're going to try and break out of that 21 cents, but hopefully here at some point. Polkadot at $20.34, and then Uniswap at $26.47. Those are for the top 10. We'll go ahead and we'll check out some of the tokens, and let's see what is the top movers for the day. Oh, so we have the Venus reward token. We had actually talked about that in the last live stream that we had, and it looks like they are up by almost 40% for the past 24 hours, and with being up uh, over 10% for the past 7 days. Following them would be Frontier at 26%, almost 27. Bitcoin's standard hash rate token, which is at a 24% increase for the day, with a 29% increase for the week. On the DeFi end, our winners are Badger DAO. They're on a 25% increase for the day and then a 80% increase for the past 7 days. BZX Protocol is up 19% and 37%. Rocket Pool 16% and 32%. Clay Swap 16 and 42. Keeper 13 and 12. And then Peak DeFi 12 and 10. And then let's just go ahead and check out NFTs. Let's see our winners. Portron is up 81% for the day, and it is up 187% for the past 7 days. Circuits of Value is up 44% and then 111%. Unisocks is up 24% and then 98%. Feathercoin is up 21 and 14. Game Credits is up 19 and 25. And then let's check out Play to Earn. Our top runners for today is Chain Cade. It's up 40% for the day, 90% for the week. I'm sure that that's extremely new given that it's at 3,293. Illuvium is up 9% for the day, 49% for the week. Alien World is up 8% for the day, 3% for the week. Crypto Zune, 6%, even for the week. Yield Guild Games, they're up 4%, down 13% for the week. So if you like this show, if you want to continue to be kept up to date on crypto and everything that's going on in the crypto space, make sure to smash the subscribe button, punch the like button in the face, and then make sure to drop down a comment down below telling us something that you love about crypto. Other than that, you guys have a great one, and Crypto Invest is out.